everyone. My name is Pat Pollock, and I'm the National Senior Director of Professional Learning and Partnerships for Schoolwide. And today I just wanted to spend a little bit of time with you talking about how we integrate the New Jersey Student Learning Standards into all of our resources and our professional learning support. The purpose of this video is to also support you with some tips on how you can embed these standards seamlessly into your literacy instruction while using our resources or using our professional learning support. When you think about the vision for these newly revised standards, the state of New Jersey really wanted to embrace the whole child as a literacy learner. They also wanted to arm all practitioners and educators with the necessary tools for clarity with their instruction. In developing these standards, they were very mindful of providing opportunities for students to have creative and purposeful expression with language. They also wanted students to be exposed to a variety of texts, a cross-section of genre, challenging texts, opportunities to build their content knowledge while also being exposed to different vocabulary. They wanted students to experience authentic writing tasks, not only in their literacy instruction, but across the school day, in content area instruction, and in a way where students are invited to reflect. They wanted students to have opportunities to talk with one another about their thoughts and ideas related to their books, but also related to questions that they might have as global citizens. In revising these standards, they also wanted students to move up the depth of knowledge and be exposed to opportunities to evaluate and analyze different perspectives and points of view. And finally, they wanted students to establish lifelong habits so that they view reading and writing, listening and speaking as something that they want to do, something that they're confident with, and something that they can experience for pleasure as well in school settings. So how can we help you bring the standards to life in regards to reading, writing, grammar, assessment, and content literacy? Well, before we get into our instructional resources and our digital platform, I first wanted to emphasize these habits of mind. These guiding principles will not only support instructional practices, but they will also help to instill confidence and lifelong practices in students. When you think about agency and empowering students to have voice and choice in the classroom, that is of critical importance. Identity is a through line that you're going to notice in all of our resources because it is through instilling confidence and identity in students that they will feel empowered, going back to that word agency, to take risks and to develop and grow. In order for students to develop and grow, we also will inspire them to set some goals for themselves and then reflect upon the processes they use to meet these goals. We want students to be curious. We don't want them to think that everything is going to be black and white. We want them to wonder and research and question. And they'll do that through different lines of inquiry. Bringing a culture of literacy is not just about teaching children how to read and write. It is also about helping them develop a meaningful relationship and positive attitude around literacy. I've always liked this quote because I think it speaks to what we want to see students experience in their school settings, but also what we want teachers to extend to all of their classes: meaningful relationships and positive attitudes. And so first I thought I would start in the primary grade, just to represent to you how our resources really do support the rigor of these standards. And so when you think about a brand new student to school in kindergarten, learning through the lens of genre, we also want them to embrace engaging texts. We want them to make connections to their own personal lives, and we also want them to see connections to social and emotional learning. In this particular lesson, A Balloon for Isabel, students are being exposed to a fantastical fiction read aloud. But it's through this read aloud that we're going to reinforce the elements of story, along with how do characters solve problems. The enhancement to this lesson is the introduction to the word attempts. Whenever we can expose students to real-world experiences, we know that problems are not always solved the first time. And so we wanted our kindergarten students to embrace this character, Isabel, on her journey to solve a real problem. And so we introduced that word attempts so that students understand that not only do the characters in their books have to possess the trait of perseverance, but they too have to relate to that trait in their own personal lives. As we move to second grade, this example in one of our informational writing units exposed students to alternate methods of research. Now, when we say that word research, oftentimes children think, who, me? I'm only in second grade. But actually, what we want to instill in students is that there are a variety of ways that we can gain information about the topics we're researching. Sometimes we use the internet, but other times we can interview and talk to experts. And in this particular lesson, if students have an interest in sunken treasures, things that they can find below the top of the ocean, we're going to encourage them to either write letters, reach out through a digital method, or develop a series of questions where they can interview people to get answers to their questions. Going back to our habits of mind, this is inspiring curiosity, but it's also giving students agency so that they can select the method of research that works best for them. Now, in our content literacy units, all students will experience a multi-genre approach. That means we're extending to students different ways that they can enhance their content knowledge about a social studies or science topic. In this particular case, The Man Who Made Parks, students are going to explore a gentleman who really wanted to enhance the beauty of our world by creating national parks. But in this particular unit, we wanted students to analyze and evaluate information from a variety of sources, but also from different perspectives and points of view. These types of lessons help students to build towards analyzing and evaluating resources. It will help them not only in school grades, but also when they graduate and move on to college and careers, because it's really important to equip students with the ability to have their own perspectives when they're analyzing different points of view. Now, we also have a digital platform called Fundamentals Unlimited. This resource will offer teachers a plethora of resources. It will provide them with assessment tools, annotated writing exemplars, suggestions for homeschool connections, video supports, opportunities for students to learn about themselves, their identity, differentiated resources, and also some tools to help teachers build internal capacity. This particular digital platform supports all of the changes in the standards. And if you decided to move ahead with some professional learning, we would be able to take teachers through all of the resources found on the platform and customize differentiated folders in order to support responsive teaching and learning. So when you think about all of the resources that we have that support readers, writers, grammarians, those who want to deepen their understandings and content knowledge, the assessment tools, the different texts, the supports that help our multilingual learners, a lot of that can be done through inviting us to support you through professional learning. You have options to have us on site, for us to build modules for you, for us to meet with you on Zoom, or even for us to analyze your current curriculum resources so that we can make some suggestions in regards to how you can bolster instruction and perhaps modify or change your resources so that they match the rigor of the current standards. Our consulting team is well-versed in New Jersey state standards, as well as best practices that inspire students to take risks, but also support teachers in the area of responsive teaching and learning. Here's an example of some of the offerings that we wanted to extend to you this year. In response to the newly revised standards, we felt that it was important to customize some courses so that you would be able to select from a menu of options in regards to the specific needs of your school district. This was just a brief example of the ways that we can support you through professional learning, as well as our literacy resources and digital platform. I look forward to connecting with you and speaking with you about the distinct needs of your districts. Please don't hesitate to reach out because we're here to support you.